This is Boston, Massachusetts, and this is the Boston Common. It's like the Central Park of Boston. Let's start here. And go. For me, this is what the world felt like growing up, like I was just dropped in and didn't even really know how to get started choosing which path to go down. And I really don't think I'm the only one that feels this way. There are so many paths in life, so how do we even start to choose which path to take? And just as importantly, which paths not to take? Without a destination, without a goal for where you want to go, most people just end up wandering through the world, or, worse yet, they don't go anywhere at all. So now let's go back to our starting place in the Boston Common. And this time, let's set a destination, a goal for where we want to go. I'm going to choose one of my favorite places in Boston, Fenway Park. So now we know our starting place and our destination, and now we just have to figure out a path to get there. And guess what? Even in this simple example, there's more than one way to get to where we want to go. This is a simple example, but the point is that if you don't have a clear vision of where you are and where you want to go, it can be very hard or even feel impossible to make a decision. Your starting place is always different, but it's also always right where you are in the moment at that time. And from there, it's just about identifying your goal or your destination and then planning your path to get there. Let's be honest, not everyone's goal is going to be to get to the Red Sox game at Fenway Park.
Hard hit into right, back at the wall, tie game! Big pop!
This was on national TV.
So how do we figure out what our goals should be? First off, I like to think of two types of goals. Short-term goals and the long-term goals. Short-term goals tend to be smaller, like I want to go get some eggs at the store today, while long-term goals tend to be bigger or even huge, like I want to be the first brain surgeon on Mars. Small or short-term goals might only have a few steps that are required to complete them, while your larger long-term goals could have hundreds of steps. These long-term goals can oftentimes feel overwhelming or even impossible to achieve. But what we need to realize is that those larger goals can be broken down into a collection of smaller goals. And so our large goals end up just being the result of adding up our small goals. So how do we actually figure out what our goals should be? Some people already know what they want to do with their life, and that's great. It makes that first step so much easier. But if you're like me, it's taken a long time and it's a continuing process to figure out exactly what I want to do with my life. One day I realized that I was just getting up every day, going to work, trying to make money and trying to survive, and I was just waiting for something to happen that I thought would be cool or something that would make my dreams come true. But what was actually happening was I was just waiting to pursue my dreams and sitting back and passing the days doing things I didn't really want to be doing. And the simple reason for this was I just hadn't set any goals for myself beyond making some money and trying to survive. So then I took a step back to think about, what should my goals be? What do I really want? What do I dream of for myself in my life? I ended up identifying a few things that I really wanted in my life, and then I took those dreams and they made them my potential goals. The reason I say potential goals is because there's a crucial step at this point, and that is analyzing what you think it would mean to turn that dream into a reality, the good and the bad. For example, a lot of people probably think, wouldn't it be cool if I was a celebrity? All the money, the fancy parties, the famous friends. But if you take a step back, there's a lot more to that lifestyle. There's a lack of privacy with paparazzi basically spying on you everywhere you go, people trying to get their hands in your pockets, and people that don't even know you saying terrible things about you, like all over the internet. So when you take that step back and examine your dream, you want to make sure that you're happy with both the upside and the downside, the compromise that you'll have to make if you achieve that dream. So once you've identified those potential goals that make you really excited, and you've done the research to understand the upsides and the downsides of actually achieving that goal, now it's time to identify the steps that it's going to take. This is probably going to mean breaking it down into smaller goals that add up to where you want to be in the future. And you don't have to limit your research to just the internet. You can seek out people who are already doing the things that you want to do. And this is not necessarily one and done. You might have to revisit this process to recalibrate your goals when the world changes around you. Or you might meet someone that teaches you something new that influences how you viewed your goal from the beginning. So stay flexible, believe in yourself, and always keep learning. So setting goals can take some time following this process, and there's no need to rush. It's actually probably better if you don't rush, and you take your time, do the research, and figure out what you really want to be doing. But decision making doesn't wait until you've decided on your goals. We're all making hundreds or even thousands of decisions every day that we might not even realize. And every decision influences your chances of having the life that you want or the life that you might want in the future. And all these decisions add up to either help you achieve your goals, the good decisions, or make it harder for you to achieve your goals, bad decisions. For example, if you decide not to brush your teeth today, it's not a big deal. But if you decide to not brush your teeth every day, those decisions are going to add up and eventually your teeth are going to rot and fall out. Which is great if your goal is to be toothless as soon as possible. But if your goal is to keep your teeth, then it's much better to brush and floss every day. So whether you have already set your goals or you're just starting to think about what your goals should be, it's still important to make good decisions along the way. So how can we think about or identify good decisions before we have any of our goals set? One way to think about this problem is in terms of possibilities for yourself. There are endless possibilities in the world, and while you're working on creating your goals, the key is to keep your options open. Don't eliminate possibilities for yourself. Don't be your own worst enemy. Basically, avoiding bad decisions can be just as valuable and just as important as making good ones. That said, everyone makes mistakes, and the key is to try to keep those mistakes as small as possible and avoid making big mistakes that are difficult or impossible to recover from. Let's say I wanted to join a sports team, but in order for anyone to make the team, they have to come to tryouts. So the first step is going to be for me to show up at tryouts. I might not be skilled enough to make the team, but I'll show up and I'll give my best effort and give myself the best possible chance of making it. Or maybe I'm more skilled than anybody else, but if I don't show up for the tryouts, it doesn't matter how skilled I am, I'm not going to make the team. I've eliminated that possibility for myself. So take your time setting great goals for yourself, and when the time comes, be ready to show up for tryouts. I hope you found this video helpful, inspiring, or at least a little bit entertaining. And if you did, please consider hitting that thumbs up. I plan on making more content like this about things that have helped me along the way, as well as possibly doing some live streams soon. So if you want to catch those, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. But for now, thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you soon.